Namaskar. Welcome to Prakash on Basics. I am Prakash Zog, and we've been talking on Darshans, the Indian philosophy. But then, what is the use of all these Darshans for a common, intelligent human being? Let's look into that today. In all Darshans, there are two or three major areas of contemplation, analysis, and thought processes. Among these, there is what is known as the Jnana Mimamsa, the analysis and the understanding of the sources and methods of the nature of knowledge that is being acquired by individuals. A very serious thought has been given to all these, in fact, all the Darshans. A major contribution of Darshans is the logical analysis of the sources of knowledge or information or what we need to know, the methods of obtaining this information, and obviously the advantages and shortcomings of each of these methods. In this context, in the Darshans, we come across four words: Prama, Prameya, Pramata, and Pramana. Prama is the true, unambiguous knowledge about anything: the universe, the yajna, a tree, an animal, anything that is possible that those people, those sages could think of at that time. Prameya is the object whose knowledge is sought. In fact, it is the subject of the knowledge. And Pramata is the one who seeks this knowledge. And Praman is the word which covers many aspects of acquiring this knowledge. It is that which is the subject of our knowledge, of our talk today, basically. This word Praman is used in most of the Indian languages, and it has different connotations and meanings used there. But in the technical aspect, in the Darshans, that is in the philosophy, it is used with a specific meaning and thought. Some of the meanings I have just mentioned when I started off. I will not discuss the other meanings that are of Praman that are used in other languages and other than the Darshans. So let's begin. Anything that helps in getting true knowledge is said to be Praman. It could be a tool or a method by which this knowledge may be obtained by an individual, and it may result into furthering the previously present knowledge, or to make it more exact or precise in the process. So Praman is basically knowledge generator or knowledge source. These Pramanas are of different types, and they are named specifically. I'll give the original words from Sanskrit and their English translations also, but the translations may not fully convey the meaning implied in the original word. Secondly, in all the Darshans, that is the 6 astic and 3 nastic and their subparts, the technical definition of each Praman may be slightly different. Also, the word used for it also may be slightly different, but in general it conveys some basic meaning, and that is the one that I plan to give today. The number of pramans accepted by a darshan also varies depending upon their own individual logic and their approach to everything around. There could be 6, there could be more, but we'll concentrate on understanding the 6 basic ones first. The first one is pratyaksha pramana. The word can be actually split up into prati aksha. Aksha is associated with vision. So what we are talking of is perception, getting knowledge through our senses plus our mind, basically intellect. This is the most important praman, and it is accepted by all the darshans. It deals with the direct contact or interpretation of anything with our senses. What we see, what we touch, what we hear, what we taste, what we smell, and so forth. And of course, it is the mind that interprets this information from the senses. It could be from one particular sense, or it could be a combination of the multiple senses that we already have. And it could be linked to the previous experience of knowledge that an individual possesses. This also is said to be of 2 types by the darshanics or the thinkers. The first one is nirvikalpa. Vikalpa is an option. The information that is only registered without any option is the first part. And that's what really happens when we interact with anything. It is the interpretation and correlation that is not carried out by an individual, just the information. Once this interpretation process becomes, there are a lot of options that are available from what we see and from our past experiences and memory. And so because of these options, it is known as savikalpa, or the one with options. So nirvikalpa means without alternatives, and savikalpa is after the interpretation process that goes on. Let's take an example. I see red color. I don't hear anything. I touch to find out if it is soft, if it is hard, if it is fluid in nature, if it is sticky, and so forth. Then I smell it. All this information is also obtained by me, and that is nirvikalpa. Now I put all this information together, select from my memory, from all the options that I have, and I come to a particular conclusion about that particular object, and that is savikalpa pramana. Is it blood? It's sticky, it's fluidish in nature, it's darkish red. No, it could be paint, because the smell is slightly different, and it's red, fine, and it is soft to touch, and it smells beautifully. So it could be a rose, but the smell is slightly different, so it could be another red flower. And if the smell is not there, maybe the flower has lost its fragrance, or it's just a painting of the flower itself. So all these options flash into our minds instantaneously, but we must see the logic in which our mind is working, and that's what the Darshans tell us about. There is also a slight more deviation to this. It is known as swatah praman, that is self-validation, and paratah praman, that is a certification by somebody else. I see a liquid, I don't know really what it is. I'm not very sure, and I don't want to take a risk of touching it and putting the finger in my mouth. I look at it, it looks greenish, brownish, what is it? So I ask somebody who already knows. And if I believe the person, naturally, he is the one who's going to certify that this is what it is. This is a chemical that is hazardous, so don't dip your finger inside and put it in your mouth. Don't our mothers and parents tell us about this when we are small children? Because we are so curious to touch things and taste it and so forth. And that's something that we've been doing all along. So we have something that we feel we understand, which is Swatah Praman, and then Paratah Praman, which is certified by somebody else. There are many options to this, but I'll come to those much later. So let's look into the second one now. It is known as Anuman, the original word. We could say it is inference. Let's follow the learning method. Example, rule, example. I'll come to the example that is used by all the Darshans, most of the Darshans, to explain this, and it is very easy to understand. I'm looking at a mountain and I see some smoke on top. And then I realize that if there is smoke, there should be fire there. Because at home while cooking and at so many other places where I have seen fire, I have always associated smoke coming out with the fire. So I know that whenever there is smoke, the reason behind it could be some fire somewhere. So here now I need not see the actual fire. I correlate the information from what I already have and come to a conclusion. I infer that there must be a fire because I am seeing a smoke. Whenever you see smoke, there must have been a fire. We know of this sentence from so many other languages also. Now, let's analyze how we've come to all this. Sometimes there may not be a direct contact like Pratyaksha Pramana to completely identify an object. The information may be partial, it may be insufficient. So whatever information is available, you correlate. You choose from your own memory, think of the best possibility and come to a possible conclusion about what you are seeing. This then is what Anuman, inference, is. So Anuman comes, or inference comes through association. It comes through, it is an understanding or gaining of an information or a knowledge that follows the application of previously observed experiences or knowledge to the present situation to gain information. Think in terms of the example that I talked of. It is the logical deduction from the observations correlated to the previously confirmed knowledge. That's exactly what it is. Let's think along a different line. I'm traveling, I land up in a traffic jam and I see that the road ahead is blocked. Now I start thinking, all the traffic has stopped, but only two-wheelers are passing by. It means that the block is not a major issue. But if two-wheelers are also stopped and all the four-wheelers are stopped, then there is obviously a problem. I see an ambulance cutting through the whole process and I realize that I need not see it, but I know that there must be an accident in front. And if it returns with no body in it, or wounded people, I realize that the problem may not be really very serious. And if there is a casualty that I see driving by, I know that the problem could be serious accident. And if I see smoke coming there, correlating from my previous information, I realize that the accident could be a little serious. And if I hear an explosion, I realize there is a problem that could be pretty serious. But if I don't see an ambulance and I hear some sounds, but those are crackers that are going around, then I realize that there is some procession ahead, some marriage procession or something that is blocking the road, and so there is no way for people to pass through. I have not seen what is happening there, but I have come to all these possible conclusions by inferring and correlating information from the past. So this is what Anuman is. All these are inferences, Anuman by me based on my previous knowledge. But there are some Darshans which say that this may not always be true. Every time you see a smoke, it need not always be fire that is associated, because you have not seen all experiences. Nobody talks of a volcano which is just smoking and there is no fire, but there is burning heat inside. There is no flame there, but there is smoke. Or it could be a shooting of a film that is being carried out on the top of the mountain, where they are generating smoke with a smoke generating machine. Phosphorus pentoxide or some gas is being released which looks like a lot of smoke. So if you don't, so you cannot be very sure of things. So according to some Darshans, Anuman may not be a perfectly acceptable type of an inference. So some accept it, some don't accept it. So this is how things work out as far as Anuman is concerned. There are some complicated words that are often used by a variety of darshans like Vyapti and Hetu and Sadhya. But let's not go into more complicated issues. For our job, we need to understand the logic of how things work. Anuman is a cause and effect chain if it is multiple in nature, and realize that indirectly we have used, I have talked of it during Buddhism when I mentioned Pratitya Samutpad, the chain of events, one leading to the next, the next, the next, the next, or rather the reverse chain. If this is what I see, this must be the cause, but for this cause there must be a previous cause, for that there must be another previous cause, and so forth. So this is how the first two major types of inferences and direct information are obtained and talked of in the Darshans. There are hundreds of examples that are talked of. This is just the beginning of what Pramanas are. The Pramanas are the ones that consist of a number of views. I am not going to force all of them down your throat the first day. I would leave you to trying to look around you, find out if many of them, these two at least, are known to you and appreciated. What I need you to do is to appreciate the fact that such a serious thought was given by the Darshanics so many years ago. There are more Pramans that we must talk of, but that probably next time. If you like what I have seen, look around for these examples around you. Look around for the logic that your mind seems to follow without you even realizing these two. think of the chains that are involved, the direct and the indirect ones also. Pass on this information to your friends, like and subscribe to this channel, and let's talk of some more variety of pramanas next time. Till then, namaskar.